So if I had to start over in Dallas again today, guys, I do things very differently than most people. I wouldn't start by chasing the hottest suburbs, the trendiest zip codes, or what everyone else says will be the next Frisco. I'd be thinking about how I actually live every single day, Monday through Friday. Because here's the truth, most people move to Dallas completely backwards. They pick a neighborhood before they even understand their own lifestyle, and that's where it all goes sideways. And just so we're clear, guys, this is not a best Dallas neighborhood video, guys, but I do have that coming for you folks a little bit later on. This one is about how I think through where to live if I was starting from scratch, right? Based on lifestyle, experiences, and helping so many people move here every single day. Because in Dallas, guys, where you live matters way more than the house that you actually buy. So before I even start talking about specific areas, I want to explain how I think about all this, because this is the part that saves people from making expensive mistakes. The first thing I would look at is how I actually spend my weekdays and not my weekends. Listen, everybody imagines patios in Deep Ellum or Saturday mornings at Clyde Warren Park, but most of life in Dallas, that's going to be Monday through Friday. Where are you going to be driving to? How often are you going to be driving that? That matters more than people actually realize. The second thing is going to be the proximity to what you actually use. And not what looks good on the map, but the grocery store that you're going to hit 3 times a week, the gym you'll actually go to every single day, and the coffee shop that you rely on to survive your mornings. Those routines are the things that shape your day-to-day, right? So I always like to think about, is this within your 20-minute bubble? Another big one for me is going to be the flexibility. Am I buying in a spot that still works for life shifts, right? If you end up having to go back to the office, or you need more space, or you're going to be rented out down the line. I want all the options and no limitations. And then the last piece of the puzzle, and this one's going to be huge, right? And it's going to be that comfort over hype. Listen, I've seen people move into a hot area because it looked fun, and then 6 months later, they're tired. We're talking about parking, traffic, noise, it all adds up super fast. And the thing about it is, convenience almost always wins long term. Once you guys are clear on all these things, everything else kind of gets easy. All right, so let's talk about our bucket one, guys. If I was starting over and I wanted to be central, walkable-ish, and close to all the energy I was looking for, this is where my head would go first, right? And when I say central, I mean being near the spots you'll actually go to often, right? The restaurants, the events, the meetups, the gym, and also being able to get across town without feeling like you're burning a quarter tank of gas every time you leave the house. Guys, in Dallas, this usually means areas closer to the urban core, places like Uptown, Lower Greenville, Bishop Arts, Deep Ellum, parts of East Dallas, right? Areas where you're trading space for access. The upside over here is the convenience part, right? And the lifestyle type of density that you get with it all as well. You're close to more options. You're not driving 25 minutes just to grab tacos or meet a friend for drinks. If you like being out and about, guys, this setup makes the city feel a lot more connected. And if you're new to Dallas, being central definitely helps you learn the city a lot faster. But here's the trade-off, guys, because there's always going to be the other side of the coin. You're going to be paying a premium for location. This usually means that you're getting smaller lots, older homes or condos, tight parking, and depending on the neighborhood, guys, you might have construction or street traffic in your face every single week. Another thing people underestimate is the daily friction, guys. Tighter streets, limited garage, more noises, and less privacy. Listen, some folks love the buzz, but others, they get over it relatively quick. So here's my quick self-check, guys. If you're someone who values access, energy, and that spontaneity more than you value the space and the peace, then this lifestyle can be a great fit for you. But if I'm working from home, I'm noise sensitive, or I want a big garage and a yard, I'm probably gonna be happier in a different bucket, and we'll get over to that next, guys. But real quick, if you're sitting there thinking, yeah, I'm not sure which one of these buckets I actually fall into, guys, that's exactly what my team and I do, and we help people figure this stuff out every single day, guys. If this is your first time to the channel, I'm Mark with the Dallas Relocation Guide, and we help people buy, sell, and relocate right here to the Dallas Metroplex, guys. Look, nobody's out here boots on the ground giving you the insights, the intel, and everything that you need to know to make the best decision for you and your family. So if you're thinking about making a move, guys, feel free to reach out. We're not too busy, we get calls every day, and we're helping people just like you make this move down to Dallas. All of our contact info is down in the description below and pinned to the top of the chat. All right, so let's talk about this next bucket where I see most people asking me about these days, guys. They're looking for that balanced suburban living with good access to all the things they want, right? And if I was starting over and wanted a mix of just, space, convenience, and then the flexibility as well, this is probably where I'd spend most of my time looking. You're not going to be in the middle of all the action, but you're not in the middle of nowhere either. It's going to be that in between that works really well for real life. Because in Dallas, this usually means areas just outside of our urban core. I want you to think Frisco, McKinney, Mansfield, we're talking about Rockwall, or parts of Plano and Allen, right? You've got the neighborhoods, the shopping, the schools, and all the day-to-day stuff that's gonna be super close by without feeling like you need a full travel itinerary just to grab dinner. And the biggest win in this bucket is going to be the livability, guys. You typically get more space, right? Bigger homes, larger lots, you get the garages too, and all that matters more than people think once everyday life starts to kick in. If you work from home, you have kids, or you just want that room to breathe, this setup gives you some freedom. I also really like the range of housing that you're gonna see in these areas, right? You're gonna find the older tree-lined neighborhoods. They're gonna be mixed with some brand new construction with walking trails and parks. It's really giving you that kind of variety that gives you those options right now and down the road. And when it comes to a routine, guys, this lifestyle is just easier. Grocery runs are close by, school drop-offs are manageable, getting to the gym, practice, or dinner doesn't feel like a mission anymore. And all that really adds up fast when you're juggling work, kids, and errands. Now, are there trade-offs? For sure, guys. There's no way around it. You're not walking to the nightlife or hitting concerts that are 5 minutes away. And if you're commuting downtown or across the city, guys, traffic still matters. And that's especially true during peak hours, guys. But most people find that those trade-offs are well worth it for what they gain in comfort and space. All right, so now this takes us into our third bucket, slower pace of life, lifestyle first type of living. Guys, if I was starting over and my priority was peace, routine, and space, this is the direction I would be looking in, guys. This is where people tend to value quiet over convenience. If they don't mind being a little farther from the action if it means their day-to-day life just feels easier, right? In Dallas, this usually means areas that sit farther out, right? Places like Midlothian, we're talking about Forney, Heartland, Royce City, even parts of Anna and Princeton. We just helped a client and he's looking for some property out in Sherman and Denison, which is way north, but again, it's that rural, quiet, small town living with great new construction prices. You're gonna be getting in neighborhoods that are more spread out, they're gonna have the larger lots, fewer cars on the road, and just overall less pressure in the day-to-day. What surprises a lot of people is how much they actually like this once they get settled in. And especially if you work from home, guys, or you have kids or just don't need to be out all the time, the slower pace can be the huge lifestyle upgrade that you've always been looking for. We're talking less noise, less traffic, less stress, more breathing room. I mean, guys, it sounds like a fairy tale mentally and physically to me. And for some people, it's really just all about freedom, right? You want space for that workshop, a garden, maybe even some chickens. And you don't want the HOA knocking every time you leave the garage door open. That lifestyle is still possible in parts of North and South Dallas, guys, and this is the bucket that gives you all that chance. But again, this isn't for everyone, and that's important to say, guys. If you need to be close to all the events, you want to try new restaurants often, or you hate driving more than 15 to 20 minutes for anything at all, this can feel like isolation fast. I've seen people choose this bucket for the price or the lot size and then realize they underestimated how much access really mattered to them. So this comes down to being honest with how you actually live day to day, not how you think you want to live day to day. But if space, quiet, and freedom are all starting to outrank convenience for you, this lifestyle can be incredibly hard to beat, right? All right, now following those three lifestyle buckets, I want to talk about a few things I would actively avoid if I had to start over in Dallas, Texas, because this is where I see people get burned the most. And if you're still watching this and you're trying to figure out which one of these buckets actually fits your life, that's what we're here for, guys. Reach out, guys. My team is here to help you. We can get you moving in the right direction. All right, so mistake number one is going to be choosing an area based on price alone. Listen, I've seen people stretch way out because the house looks better or the price just feels safer. But then they realize their daily life just got harder and it offsets. Longer drives, less flexibility, and way more time in the car than you planned for. Number two, underestimating commute patterns, right? Not just the distance, but the actual direction where you're going. Guys, in Dallas, driving 10 miles can take 15 minutes or 45. And that's just going to be depending on where you're going and when. One thing you're going to start to understand quickly about here being in Dallas is when you look on the map and you're going somewhere, you have to take into account what you know is coming, say 20 miles down the road. A lot of people look at the map and they think, yeah, that's not really that far, without realizing our highway systems absolutely have their own personalities. And then number three, right? Buying into a lifestyle you don't actually live, right? A lot of folks, they picture themselves walking to coffee shops, going out all the time, or loving that downtown energy, but then real life kicks in. Work, errands, school, traffic. Yeah, all that fun stuff, it fades fast if the basics are a struggle. Your location has to serve your real routine and not your Instagram vision. Number four, overlooking all these long-term costs, right? That includes property taxes, maintenance, insurance, tolls, and even things like school zones if you got kiddos, right? It's easy to ignore all that in the excitement phase, but it always shows up once you're actually living here. And then probably the biggest thing that I would avoid, guys, is rushing, right? Listen, Dallas has tons of great areas, but not every area is going to be a great fit for you. Taking some time to get honest about how you live will save you from moving again way sooner than you planned. Because in my experience, most regret isn't about the house at all. It's about the location not matching their real lifestyle. Listen, there's a lid for every single pot in Dallas, right? There's no one best place to live here. There's just a place that actually fits how you live, what your values, and what season of life you're actually in right now. I've helped people be incredibly happy living in a high-rise up in Uptown. I have some in balanced suburbs like Allen or Mansfield, or even farther out on land in Midlothian or Anna. And I've seen those same choices go sideways when the lifestyle didn't match the real day-to-day. That's why I always say the location decision matters more than the house itself. We have a lot of people who reach out to us who just want to go look at houses, and I can tell that I have to reel them back in because they're going to make a big mistake. Guys, you can update the flooring or repaint your cabinets, but you live with the location every single day. If you're planning a move to Dallas or even just thinking about it, guys, slow this part down. Get clear on how you live before you fall in love with a listing or a flashy neighborhood name. It's going to save you a ton of stress later, right? And if you want help walking through the process, guys, figuring out which bucket you fit in and what areas actually make sense for you and your family, my team and I would be happy to help you out, guys. All of our contact info is down in the description below. And if you're still in that research mode, thinking about which areas, when you're going to move, and even if Dallas is going to be the right place for you, we understand that to the T. And that's why we created this channel. And we made bingeable playlists just like Netflix that you can watch, and you can check those out right there.